Hello, scholars, and welcome back. It's already week 4 of POL450, Research Methods for Political Science. I hope you had a good week 3, and now let's take a look at what we need for week 4. Here in week 4, we're going to base everything on chapters 4 and 5 out of our text. We're also going to do a brief introduction into statistics and the levels of data, reliability, and validity. We need to continue to work our annotated bibliography research, and then we have 3 deliverables: our research questions and measurement, an application exercise on statistic problem sets, and our week 4 discussion board. So let's break down each one of those. Starting with our PowerPoint lecture. Our PowerPoint this lecture is on an introduction to statistics. And before you get concerned, let me warn you, or let me reassure you, that this is not a statistics class. We do, though, need to introduce you to a level of statistics, because for each one of our studies, there will be some sort of mathematical measurement that we're going to use to determine our outcomes. Remember, this is a key finding or a key element of a research study, is that we are going to be introducing some sort of, not necessarily a conclusion, but we're adding to the academic knowledge on the subject. According to my data suggests data in itself does us no good if we don't do something with the data. And typically that's where statistics come in. We do surveys, we get data. Then when we have the data, we need to analyze that data. We need to report on that data. We need to tell people what that data means, or at least what it suggests. And that's where our statistics comes in. So this PowerPoint lecture this week is going to give you a brief introduction to statistics. But once again, I reassure you, this isn't a statistics class. This is just going over some of the basic concepts of statistics. For our written exercise this week, once again, we're going to stick with the same due date. As always, it's a Sunday at 11:59, and this Sunday is going to be July 26. 25 points possible. And what we're going to be doing is we need to operationalize those variables. So this week, you're going to get feedback on your research question. From your research question, once we get that blessed and we're good with our research question, then we need to operationalize the variables. And that's what we're going to do this week. I have given you a week 4 suggestion, or not so much a suggestion, but an example where we once again talk about that research question that I introduced to you last week. Have the residents of Riverside County, California, changed their water usage habit over the last year, or are they choosing not to change their usage over that same period of time, and what reasons do they give for their decisions? This week we need to operationalize those variables. So the first is drought. I will use the definition of drought given by the National Weather Service. Change in water usage, I'll give my example, and reasons for changing or not changing, and how you will measure that. So read through the example, and then for each variable that you have within your research question, I need you to operationalize. It's that simple. But remember, this will also lend into making sure that, or refining your research question. And remember, it's perfectly all right to adjust things as we go through this process. If you find that it's very difficult to operationalize your variables, it's probably because your research question needs a little bit of tweaking or adjustment. And remember, nothing is set in stone. The only thing that will be set in stone is that final prospectus. So if you need to change your research question, go right ahead in order to make sure that you can operationalize the variables. So I want your research question, and then each one of the variables, and a quick sentence or two about how you will operationalize them. So 15 point if you get all those, and then if we do it at college level writing skills, 10 more. So that's 25 points, remember, Sunday at 11:59. Our next deliverable is going to be our application exercise. Remember, that's just a fancy word for a quiz. So our quiz this week is on the basic terminology and techniques of descriptive statistics. There's no time limit on the quiz, but once it is opened, it must be completed. Do not try to save your work and come back to it later. The quiz may be repeated one time for a higher score if you wish. So utilize some time management. Once again, my suggestion is to go through the 2 chapters we have this week in your book, review the PowerPoint lecture, and then take the quiz, and you should do fine. And it's all based upon those descriptive statistics skills that are outlined. But once again, use some time management, because once you open this, you need to finish it in one setting, but you have the 2 opportunities to fix your grade if you're not pleased with your first outcome. And then finally, we have our discussion board. Discuss your topic and your research with your fellow students. How is this research for relevant? How is the search for relevant literature going? What interesting or surprising things have you discovered in the search for information? In addition to posting information on your topic, you need to respond to at least 2 other students and post with feedback. Remember, for the discussion board, it needs to be at least 300 words. I think 300 words is the minimum that you would need to meet the criteria and add an academic conversation to your colleagues in this group. And then I expect 2 scholarly replies to 2 of your colleagues in this class. And once again, we're not looking for I agree with, well done, well said. You need to add to the academic conversation. So there you go. We're building upon that research question. So in week 3, we made our research question. Week 4, operationalizing the variables. And we're already introducing the statistics sides of measurement, because in the next week, we're going to figure out how we're going to measure it with survey questions. And you can see how these pieces, one by one, they're coming together till ultimately we have that entire puzzle put together, and that's going to be our prospectus. Real quick, if we look at the announcements this week, or from last week actually, remember there was a prospectus video that I put last Monday. Make sure you go through that. That's going to take you step by step through the research prospectus, your critical assignment for this class. And then I've given you a template, all the pieces that you need to write in order to meet the criteria, and have even given you an example of a completed prospectus, just so there's no confusion on how these pieces of the puzzle of how a prospectus is put together. So take time to watch that. But with that, we're back here in week 4. Fairly simple, or a fairly straightforward week. Read your text, look over the PowerPoint conversation or the PowerPoint, take the quiz, operationalize your variables from your research question, and introduce your topic to your fellow colleagues on the discussion board. So I really look forward to seeing this all come together. Once again, if you have any problems, concerns, issues, questions, anything, you need to reach out to me. If you don't reach out to me, I have this assumption that everything's going great, which I like. That's what I'm hoping for. But if you do have them, reach out to me. And if you don't reach out to me, there's no way that I can ever answer those questions. So have a successful week 4. I look forward to reading all your assignments. Stay safe, stay healthy. A lot of craziness going on out there these days. So I just want you to be very diligent in staying safe and staying healthy. Everybody has a light at the end of this tunnel that we're all striving for, and it'll be here before we know it. So I'll keep you in my thoughts, my prayers, and I will look forward to talking to you shortly. So bye for now.